Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Today we are going to answer one of the TOEFL questions in the reading section. So pause the video, read the question, then go with the paragraph, then I will explain which option is the correct answer. Go ahead. So let's get it started. I want to break down the questions and the options we have in here. Okay. So firstly, in paragraph 2, why does the author discuss 4 finch species that crush seeds within their beaks? Firstly, this is a purpose question. Okay. The question asks you that why the author mentioned a certain detail. In this case, the certain detail is the 4 finch species. So it checks if you understand the purpose, or we can say the function of that example in the paragraph or no. So for answering such kind of question, the best strategy is to read the question before and after the mentioned sentence. Okay. Then find out the main idea or claim that author is proving or maybe testing. And you have to see how the example supports or illustrates the idea. So the original statement starts from the correspondence between up to the crush seeds up to the here. Okay, up to here we have them. So I want to go and break down every single statement of the paragraph. Let's go to the very first one. Here we have him that the correspondence up to between. Okay. So yeah, the correspondence between the beaks of the 13th finch species and their food source immediately suggested to Darwin that evolution had shaped them. So if I say it in a very simple language, so if you like, you can write it down on your paper to make it much easier for yourself. So the meaning of this statement is this: Darwin saw that each finch beak matched its food type, so he thought evolution changed their beaks. That's the simplification of this statement. If we go with the next statement, if his suggestion that, let's go with it up to specialty. Yep, here we have the next statement. Okay. If his suggestion that the beak of an ancestral finch had been shaped by evolution is correct, then it ought to be possible to see the different species of finch acting out their evolutionary rules, each using their beaks to acquire their particular food specialty. So, in a simple way, we can say that if Darwin's idea is true, we should see each finch using its beak for its special food, like real examples of what evolution happening. And finally, we have the last statement. The 4 species that crush seeds within their beaks, for example, should feed on different seeds, those with stouter beaks specializing in harder to crush seeds. If we simplify this one, we can say that, for example, we have in here 4 types of finches break seeds with their beaks. The ones with stronger beaks should eat harder seeds. Okay, so we can find out from here. So question is asking that why does the author is mentioning this part of the information? 4 finch species that crush seeds within their beaks. What is the reason that why he's discussing this idea? So for answering this question, we have to look for our keyword, and you can find out the keyword right at the end of the paragraph, the 4 species, because here we have our keyword. Okay. And evidence is here, and this shows that the author mentioning the 4 finch species as an example of how Darwin's theory could be tested, and maybe by observing whether finches with a stronger beaks eat harder seeds. So that's the case. Our answer is in here. Okay, so if we go with options, option A, To suggest one way of testing Darwin's view that evolution determined the shape of finch beaks. So I do not want to remove this one because it's very likely. Let's go with B. To emphasize that finches with stouter beaks required a diet of larger seeds in order to survive in their in their island environment. So option B, it's somewhat wrong. Okay, why? Because the paragraph doesn't say required to survive, only that they should feed on harder seeds if Darwin's theory is right. That's why we eliminate option B. Option C, to argue that evolution may not have been the only factor in the shaping of finch beaks. Option C is also wrong because the paragraph supports Darwin's theory, not argues against it. Okay, so that's why we also remove option C. Option D, to explain why the other species observed by Darwin do not exist today. So this is wrong because the passage never says any species disappeared. So the only option in here we have is option A, to suggest one way of testing Darwin's view that evolution determined the shape of finch beaks. That's the correct answer because the author uses these species to show a possible test of Darwin's idea. The author mentions that the 4 finch species to show one possible way to test Darwin's idea about evolution and beak shape. That's why we go with option A. If we click on the answer keys, it says that, yeah, that's the correct answer. Thank you for watching and see you in another video.